Alrighty, so this is how this is going to work, guys. People left comments on the Moot answering these 3 questions. I need you all to judge who had the best answer, the best response. And that person is going to win a $50 Amazon gift card. Sounds simple enough, right? Yeah, MLS was crazy in Kata, but also RLS. So the questions were, do you feel like Warlocks are pretty weak right now in PvP? If so, what would you like to see change to make the class stronger? And lastly, what do you guys think Blizzard is going to buff to make Warlocks stronger? One sec, I gotta grab something. I'm gonna go over this in just a second. Pick the top 5 and put a straw poll? Yeah, we can do that. Yeah, I'm interested to see what we... Let's see. First comment, Warlocks feel bad. I'd like to see personally for Destro remove the dependence on Infernal for bursting and make regular Chaos Bolts feel more impactful. Overall, the most enjoyment I've had playing this game is Mop Destro Warlock. Also change wall back to 1 minute cooldown and remove equalized health pools. I think Blizzard is going to make everyone re-roll and just delete Warlock as a class. I definitely like that point. I do agree. That's the problem with Destro. You like my t-shirt? Yeah. It's pretty cool. Guys, check this out. I got the official MSI jersey. Look at that. Oh. Yeah, shout out to MSI. Specs were really dependent on our effects. Came a lot weaker in BFA and others that buff damage. Like, Affliction was really dependent on them. So, that was the comment from Aiden. Now we got iHump. I'm not going to read the rest of it. Warlocks seem like they can't cast anything nor survive to anything, to be honest. Now, about what they can do, I don't know. Give more survivability. It's hard to tell, and I hope they give us something to mitigate damage. Maybe reduce cooldown on wall. Okay. Yeah, we love MSI, baby. Now we got Facelid. This is a really, really long comment. So, 1, I'd say they feel pretty weak right now. You need very specific traits. When you don't have them, you're just a 50-year-old used punching bag that breaks within a few hits. 2, this is such a hard question to answer, as all 3 specs have different issues. Oh, cool. We got the breakdown on every spec. So, Destro. You have the chance to get a kill every 3 minutes. It's really easy to shut down, and they have a hard time staying alive. I like to see a little focus on burst, while still keeping the feel of being a burst class, and some added sustained damage outside of the cooldown. Maybe change the casting circle PvP talent so it doesn't stop our wall from giving interrupt immunities. Could be interesting. Also, some more damage mitigation would be nice. Just like Affliction, Destro is super squishy, and having more health doesn't help, as it means the healer still has to heal the same amount or more. Giving us Soul Link back would be a good step in the right direction. Okay. So that was for Destro. Now we got Affliction. Damage is good, but we're forced into 1 or 2 traits. Making more traits viable would be nice. Just like Destro, Affliction is super squishy and probably needs Soul Link back. At this point, I would even accept a slight damage nerf traded for increased survivability. Okay. Guide for most effective traits. Yeah, I'm going to be working on some YouTube guides for sure. And lastly, we got Demo. Demo has the opposite problem. Survival is decent, but the lack of damage is insane. I feel like this is mainly due to horrible pet AI. Yes, pet AI is terrible at the moment. And slow pet movement speed compared to like BM Hunter. I'd like to see them fix the AI, increase speed of all pets, and increase survivability of the imps and Fellstalkers as well. Right now, any kind of AoE near the lock will constantly prevent the Warlock from dealing damage. Even if we manage to get pets out and ramp up LOS stops it completely and makes the pet slowly waddle towards the target. Okay. Overall, we need more survivability. The mobility we have needs to be set up first. We don't have leap, blink, sprint, or anything else, so we need to be tanky in order to make up for it. In my opinion, we need to have more tanking capability than a mage to make up for a lack of mobility and control. We also need more ways to help teammates. I'd like to see instant Shadow Fury and possibly instant Howl of Terror back. Okay. So 3. I think they'll give us some sort of Soul Link back for all specs. Maybe a damage reduction on Demon Skin to avoid forcing Affliction and Destro out of Sacrifice. And that would really cuck our damage, which sucks. I also think we get instant Shadow Fury maybe in the form of a talent and then make Mortal Coil a baseline. Any case, damage is fine in most cases, so I'd expect an increase in tankiness and control. Okay. Pretty good point. What do you guys think? Oh, Mop Hunter. I miss Instant Wyvern. So now we got the comment from Kata. Oh, he left the response too. A 5 out of 7? Just came back to WoW, first time since BC. Nice to see that my favorite class is still somewhat alive. Not really. See, the problem is, Sacrifice makes up so much of our damage. If we lose that, we lose so much damage. That's the problem.
Your world is doomed.
Yo, Savage, thank you so much for that sub. Welcome back to the team, bro. Let's get some hypes in the chat. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Warlocks are bitches. Not even close. Alright. Oh, Kata, you're here. Perfect. We're going to read your comment. You lost your sub streak. Okay. They are in arenas. In BGs, Affliction is usually top damage and free damage. Any situation you most likely melt when someone targets you. You know, that's kind of true. We just did a Battleground, and I was top damage by a lot, but I get targeted and I just flop. So I'm a super, super glass cannon. Anything but plus X% damage or whatever, in general, baseline port would be nice, along with making or replacing Shadow Fury talent to something more useful. Lock with a port plus coil gives more survivability. Instant Shadow Fury, please. 3-minute cooldowns, like really, why? Remove Destro reliability on Infernal to do any damage. Buff the bolt and keep the design of the build up, or reduce the Infernal cooldown and nerf the Infernal itself. Just make something like Grim Supremacy effect being in the class mechanic. It would be nice to have Shadowburn as a useful finisher and not just a subpar instant incinerate shard generator. 3. They're really going to plus X% on stats or some traits. I don't have any hope. Oh no, look the no hope. Man, alright, so as I said it, so it is. Destro. Oh yeah, you posted the Destro buffs. Because this was the 25th, so it was like a week ago. Those were all the changes. Cool. We got an Aaron. Other than utilizing the ID Azerite trait, Warlocks are very weak in PvP. Damage throughput for all specs is subpar, and they are very soft at this time. The one thing that a Warlock can do also be stopped by so many things and takes quite some time to stack. I'd be willing to see a weaker ID in PvP with a trade to an overall buff and damage to all specs, as well as providing a bit more survivability as far as damage absorption or mitigation. I could see them providing a 5 to 10% overall increase in damage, with a reduction to the ID trait in PvP, then possibly increasing Soul Link/Leech, or making Dark Pact more attractive. Okay. That's what a lot of people are predicting. Should have linked my... Oh yeah, you could have done that. WoW subs are down. I don't think... I mean, for viewers on Twitch, WoW is up higher than normal. I wonder how their subs are doing. Double kick. Okay, boom. Yes, I feel like Locks are the weakest class in the game, followed by DKs. Really? I think DK is statistically weaker. Armor would be a nice addition to Locks. Maybe a small passive heal. Lock playstyle has changed drastically this expansion. I wish they gave them a curse they can put on allies to remove sheep, traps, and fear. Oh, Maybe make it a 1.5 second cooldown. But having some more utility would be nice. Oh, so a curse that works like an imp. Huh. They need to buff Demo so it can be viable in PvP. They can tweak Destro a bit by increasing some of the traits. AF just needs a huge rework. I feel like going Drain Life shouldn't be Affliction's only purpose. I hate that too. No, Windwalker's in the worst. We've already looked at the numbers. DK's the worst, then Warlock. Damn. We got a huge comment. Okay, so we only have a couple more. We got Razier. Huge comment right here. 50% increased armor for an hour. Demon armor. Yeah, demon armor and demon fell armor. So, I'm a 2.1k EXP lock, and I play during Kata, Wrath, WoD, Legion, and now. I tried to keep it short, but it looks long. But I really think it's worth about, so please read if you care. We're gonna read it. 1. Warlocks are weaker than any other class for sure. Definitely worst class right now in my opinion due to the lack of tools and defensive capabilities coupled with easily distributable damage and bursts. Oh, disruptible damage and bursts. Something that not even other casters face due to their spenders being all instant casts. Kind of like Mage, I guess Elisham, Boomkin. It's kind of true. Ellies are stacking up Astral Power for instant Earthshock. Mages just have their instant cast on a 30-second cooldown. And then Boomkins are stacking up Astral Power, I think it's called, for Star Surges. And Warlocks just spend shards on UAs. Windwalker's not worse than a lot, dude. Looking at the numbers. 2. Being less cooldown dependent. I think Warlocks should not have cooldowns and should have high consistent damage, as having cooldowns is very easily counterable by hiding. I wish they remove all our cooldowns and add more consistent damage. And mobile classes can't have cooldowns as it anti-synergizes, and that itself makes class unplayable. See, Warlock used to be that, where Warlock had a ton of rot, they had decent damage reduction with Soul Link, and then they had the armor spells, and we had no cooldowns. I kind of agree with that. I don't want to have to deal with rotating a wall, especially a 3-minute wall. It's just terrible. Yeah, TBC Warrior Druid twos. Also Hunter Druid. Alright, after that, Demonic Circle baseline and cooldown reduced at least to 20 seconds. That might be a little too far. I think the lowest it's ever been was 24. If you do not run from melee, you're pretty much dead, no matter how much defensives you have. Shadow Fury instant cast. So Warlocks have a way to damage running class and actually defeat somebody. A class that simply walks around away from Warlock cannot ever die to Warlock. Wait. 20-second cooldown and instant Shadow Fury. It used to be 30, I think. Yeah, it's worse than Feint. Less hardcast dependency. Mages can delete 50% of the enemy's HP by just pressing Ice Nova and Comet Storm. Warlocks should not be required to hardcast 5 UAs and wait a lot of time in order to deal same damage. 1 or 2 UAs should be enough, even if that would mean to take PvP talent that increases UA damage by 300%, but not allow it to be stacked. Spender being hardcast means you may deal 0 damage and have 0 chance to win the game in some cases. Yeah, I know. Like for me, when I'm in a 3s game, let's say I'm fighting like a turbo or some crazy melee cleave, the amount of opportunities I get to cast UA is extremely low. Like extremely low. I'm mostly running for my life, trying to keep up corruption so I can wait for my sucky, because that's my only way I would kill them. Or I'm just taking the D. There's too many interrupts. And or I'm just dead at that point. So I think instant Shadow Fury would definitely help solve that problem, and then we can cast with the Shadow. That's what we used to do, because we would get trained by Turbo and like WoD. But we would have instant Shadow Fury. So, and WoD, you'd stack them up. Let's say they all have interrupts. It'd be the best time to do this was when they all had interrupts. So you'd Shadow Fury them, and that's when you would cast. And that was your only opportunity. But now, with a casted Shadowfury, we can't do that. Why isn't he playing a mage? Because he likes Lock. He likes Lock. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. So now, Demonic Gate, much lower cooldown. 45 seconds, in my opinion, is necessary. They did nerf the cooldown on Gateway, coming from Legion, with the PvP talent. On any resolve, having a 1.5 minute cooldown or 2 minute cooldown. That seems fair. Not going to the immediate 1. And then 3, I feel like Warlock is inconsistent. He's betrayed in some way, but instead of your class helping you achieve your goals, you're actually trying to work around weakness of your class. That's something I don't see for any other class. But I think developers don't see that, so we will see passive damage reduction like Demon Armor or something. It'll make us some sort of playable against some comps, auto-lose against others. Warlocks will be extremely unfun and unappealing, but he'll see high-rated plays. I don't want band-aids like that. If you're a hard caster, you need gap to cast, so you need mobility. If Warlock does not have enough mobility or strong enough instant spenders, he'll be in a bad spot in my opinion. Thus, I think Blizzard is not going to fix lock issues. Damn. That's somewhat true. I kind of like that last statement. I really do agree with that. Every time you stream, that trance music is spot on, especially when Armin van Buuren playing. Dude, it's Spotify. Gotta give the credit to Spotify. 1 minute instant Shadowfury is fair? Yeah. No, we used to have a 30-second cooldown on instant Shadowfury. 30-second cooldown. Also having port baseline as well. Port was baseline in that state of the game too. Just a 3 minute because of the silence that interrupts. Yeah, I think it always gave that though. It always gave the immunity to kicks, didn't it? Yeah. The second they introduced Unending Resolve, it was an Ore Mastery. PvP talents are garbage. I really thought they were going to add new PvP talents, not just copy the same ones from Legion. I really thought that. What's up, Skamas? Anyways, alright, next comment. So, Warlocks can be easily focused in PvP because they can't escape, can't cast, and Warlocks are really squishy. On the one hand, it's because Warlocks have a lack of mobility plus utility, and on the other hand, because every melee has slows, interrupts, and stuns. A Warlock can pop Unending Resolve only every 3 minutes, Gate every 2. I don't know if it's every 2, I think it's like 1. Oh, wait, what is it? Maybe you spec into it. Yeah, it's 1.5, and then you spec it into it, and it reduces the time between, you can use it by 15 seconds. So it'll be a minute 15. A minute 15 with spec, a minute and a half without. So, and of course teleport's not baseline. Also, Gate and teleport have to be placed before the fight. Shadowfury cast time is way too long because good players can walk out of the area or just interrupt stun it. Same goes for Fear, except you can LOS it, which is totally fine. Also, self-healing is low. I don't like the idea of having no passive self-healing or a Hellstone once every fight when a Sasro can heal 30% every 30 seconds. That was the point we were getting on earlier. Yeah, this is an early morning stream. I started 2 hours ago. Yeah, I mean, I also think even the minute and a half is too long for the Gateway. So I don't think that is fair when the rogue could use Hellstone 2 if he has one. Getting killed in 2s or 3s because of melee train while getting healed is awful. Being forced to have the life drain trait or agony just feels bad, man. And 2, there should be any mechanic to reduce melee damage since we can't kite or avoid melees on us. So teleport baseline, Return of Howl of Terror for AF baseline, Instant Shadowfury for Destro, small passive heal on Corruption, Unending Resolve cooldown to 1 minute, reduce GCD on Curse since so many classes can dispel Curse, and Mortal Coil baseline. That's a lot of... Oh god. You agree with everything? This, I think maybe some of these are a little too much. You'd have to kind of pick through this. I think this is giving him a little too much. Or maybe those are just suggestions so they can pick from that list, not all of them. I don't think there will be good buffs or big changes because I feel the developers don't care much about PvP. I mean, there's a reason why in 2s, most warrior, rogues, hunters, plus heal are being played. Sure, there are some crazy good warlocks like Snuster Maldiva, but the average average Joe can't pass 1800 on a Warlock. Because most people don't want to play a caster when you have something to kite, juke interrupts, and force defensive cooldowns to kill something. While as a melee, you just train a caster and can win. Just unsub or there will be no change. Alright, next comment. Yes, we have a good wall, but our defensive side, that feels kind of bad. We take insane amounts, and our class fantasy as a tanky caster is non-existent. 2, baseline circle, remove soul leech, which doesn't make a lot of sense in terms of our class fantasy. I like to see burning rush be moved to demonic circle's place in talents and introduce demonic armor, fell armor in the 3rd talent row. And 3, probably add some insane defensive tool. And when we get enough Azurite level to empower our defensive traits, and 340, 370 pieces will end up obnoxiously tanky. Love to see a bit more consistent damage on Destro, not having Incinerate hit less than a BM pet. Oof. Playing versus melee feels like playing chess with 8 horses versus someone with 8 rooks. They just keep smashing them forward while you try to damage control to the best of your ability. Yeah, UA stacking is hard. One of the comments, someone commented on the UA stacking, putting a talent to increase UA damage by like 300% and make it so you can't stack it anymore as like a recommended talent, which is kind of interesting. So we only have to rely on one. Because it is ridiculous having to chain cast something 5 times in a row to get your maximum damage potential, and it's not even that crazy scary. Also post my opinion on the EU forum. Oh yeah, Rez, yeah, you already posted that up there. I think that's just an extension of it. So definitely yes, we need more defensive, properly lower teleport cooldown. They already mentioned this in the last hotfix info. Sadly, this won't change. The lame playstyle of Afflux. I want my soul swap and Shadow Flame back. Verse stacking? I stopped stacking verse because I was just doing 2s. I still got face rolled and my casts were slower, so it just made the game feel like it slowed down for the Warlock but not for the enemy. And I don't think the trade-off was good, losing that damage for the little bit of damage reduction. Make sure Blizzard sees this. I mean, I hope they do. Be cool. So 1, Warlocks are really weak, hard to cast, and no real way to burst down a target without an Azurite trait. Very difficult to stay alive. I want more damage on dots or a way to not have to cast to burn your soul shards. Okay, and it's the last comment right here. Yes, I called it out at the start in beta. The issue with Affliction Warlocks as a whole is not the numerical DPS that the class can do. It's the rotation and things you need to do just to deal with that amount of damage, both in PvE and in PvP. 2, Shadow Bolt should be able to do what Deathbolt does, and Deathbolt removed. Oh, that's interesting. Dark Lair, I'd prefer this to be gone. 5% increased haste in PvP or 0.5 second GCD cooldown on dot applications like in Burning Crusade. Which allows us to keep our dots up, or fast application of the dots. UA should stop stacking. And then rework on our PvP talents. Rotten Decay plus Essence Drain was good in Legion because of the Life Drain filler, but it's pointless now because our main filler is not Life Drain. Something needs to be worked around with Shadow Bolt. Okay. Too late with yours. Yeah, I think haste verse is good, but when I'm sacrificing haste for verse, it does not feel good. But I think it's somewhat okay to sacrifice mastery for the verse. But I lost 5%, was it around 5% haste, and I felt it like crazy. Rip your ass single target spec? Yeah, it's gone. think the new ones go to the bottom. Oh, here we go. So, you rock from Gamer. And then Penguin Guy. Oh, you... Wait, you want to write yours here? So here we go from Penguin. Warlocks definitely feel bad. I think most issues are already aware to most people in the stream. One that I really noticed is that for Affliction, there are only 2 win conditions. You either get a kill with a suck that can't get contested because they use all CC kicks, etc. The other way you win is you somehow make it to high damp and can win with the damage from Afflock because that's the only thing that's decent. They need to give more options for Warlocks to do something. Even with Destro, pretty much all your wins come from Infernal Burst. There's too much counterplay for the enemy because your options as a Warlock are so limited. If you look at Rogue, there's so much they can do and force stuff like Ice Block with Vendetta, and they still have abilities to put more pressure on them, whilst Locks stick to their one trick of getting a kill. They either need a buff Wall by lowering the cooldown, give more mobility, but Blizzard is never going to do that. Somehow give a form of damage reduction so there's a possibility to survive. Instant Shatter Fury would be a good way to give something to Locks. It would also be nice for Locks to have more options in the game. I don't feel like I am experienced enough for more concrete buffs. And 3, Blizzard will probably give a small survivability buff and buff the damage, which will probably do nothing for Locks or make them broken because the damage will be too high, and they will get nerfed back to the ground again. In other words, Locks will not be good. The best we'll probably get is to just band-aid fixes that will make them strong and stupid damage reduction and really high damage. Okay. I can kind of agree with those. We're lacking a lot of the utility built into the class design, which is that's what's owning us. We have the damage. We just need survivability and some utility to help our teammates out. How to fix Warlocks. Reroll, play a private server, quit. Just let us die already. Cancer 2 buttons. Hey. Alrighty. We gotta pick a winner, chat. We gotta pick a winner for the giveaway. Who do we think won the best comment? You can watch videos of me all day. Yeah, the Drain Azerite is what helps. Oh yeah, they used to be the best control. Because when Warlocks don't have to do too much preemptive, like take 10 GCDs just to get all your damage out, and instead maybe make it only take 5, and then that gives you more room to fear and stuff. I want to say thank you to everybody because a lot of you guys typed up some really awesome long responses. It's tough to pick a winner. It's so hard, but link the post? Yeah, it's exclamation Moot. So tomorrow we're gonna have a new post. We're gonna discuss a different topic. I think so for the next topic tomorrow, I think I'm gonna turn it towards the Azurite. We're gonna talk about the Azurite system, because I know this one only Warlocks could really jump in. But now we'll talk about Azurite, and that'll give everybody a chance to jump in, because you all play the game and not only play Lock. So I think we found the winner. But yeah, thank you everybody for participating. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to leave a like and comment down below. Also subscribe to the channel to be notified whenever a new video is uploaded. Thank you, and I'll see you all in the next video.